At dinner, I said, "Can't wait for the family reunion?" My brother laughed. "You're not invited. It's for real family." Everyone laughed. I just smiled and left. I'd spent 18 years as the adopted kid in the Bennett family. My parents adopted me when I was 3, after their biological son, my brother, was already 8. They tried to make it work, but blood always spoke louder than love in this house. Every family photo had me positioned slightly outside the frame. Every achievement I earned got a polite nod while his mediocre report cards warranted celebration dinners. When I got into Stanford on a full scholarship, Dad clapped once and said, "That's nice." When my brother barely scraped into community college, they threw a party and invited half the neighborhood. I'd learned to accept it, or so I thought. The reunion comment was the final straw. Not because it hurt. I developed thick skin over the years, but because I'd recently discovered something that changed everything. 2 weeks earlier, I'd been organizing old boxes in the attic when I found adoption papers. Normal enough. But underneath them was a folder marked Bennett Trust, Confidential. Inside were documents showing that when my biological grandmother died, she'd left everything to me. $2 million plus the property in Ashwood Heights. My parents were named as trustees until I turned 18. I turned 18 3 months ago. They'd never mentioned it. I kept digging. Bank statements showed systematic withdrawals. Legal documents with forged signatures. Mine. My parents had been draining the trust, funneling money into my brother's failed business ventures and their own lavish lifestyle upgrades. The beach house they'd bought last year, my money. My brother's new Tesla, my money. The European cruise they were planning after the reunion, you guessed it. I'd spent the last 2 weeks making copies of everything and consulting with the lawyer whose name was on the original trust documents. He'd been trying to reach me for months, but my parents had been intercepting the calls and letters. They'd even set up a fake email address in my name to communicate with the firm, delaying everything. "This is fraud," he'd said, his face grave. "Criminal fraud. We need to act fast before they liquidate more assets." So when my brother made that joke about real family, I smiled because I knew something they didn't. The reunion was in 3 days. The whole extended family would be there. Aunts, uncles, cousins, even my mom's judgmental sister, who'd always whispered about how charity cases never truly belong. I'd already filed the lawsuit. The process server had instructions to deliver the papers during the reunion, right as my dad started his traditional toast about family bonds and Bennett pride. But that's not all I'd discovered in those documents. Turns out my biological grandmother wasn't just wealthy. She was Victoria Ashwood. The Victoria Ashwood who'd built a healthcare empire from nothing. The same Victoria Ashwood whose name was on hospital wings and scholarship funds across 3 states. And according to her will, she'd left me more than money. She'd left me the controlling shares in the family foundation. The same foundation my parents had been schmoozing for years, trying to get my brother appointed to the board. The reunion wasn't just a family gathering. It was a foundation gala where they'd be announcing new board members. My parents had been campaigning for months to get him that position. I had 48 hours to decide. Show up and watch everything unfold publicly, or let the lawyers handle it quietly and disappear from their lives forever. My phone buzzed. A text from the lawyer. "We need to talk. Your grandmother's foundation just received an anonymous tip about the Bennetts. Someone's been investigating them independently. You should see what they found." I stared at the message, my hands shaking. Someone else knew. But who? And what exactly had they discovered that I hadn't? I couldn't fit what happens next in this short video. Watch the rest down below.